Right. So yesterday we have seen like how do we work with how do we start the template driven forms? How many types of forms are there in Angular? How many types are the forms? Two type. What are those? Template driven and modal driven form. And the another name is reactive forms. Now what is mean by a template driven form? How to write? How to prepare the template driven forms? What exactly mean by that? Tell me. Right, template driven forms, the modal variables are created within the form itself, and to decorate the form or to derive the form we use an ng form, and to derive an input control we use the ng modal we used, and these two are the directive which are available in which module? In which module we have these two? Forms module, and the forms module is available in where? @Angular/forms is the library, there we can have it. And if you can see, yesterday a simple form that I have created, but I haven't implemented any validations for that. Let me show you with all the validations today. I am using ngs-o -project is equal to, let's say, forms demo, that what I can give, and click on OK, so that automatically it will work. Now you can see this is how it is going to be. Enter username. I'm going to enter that username and the age and the city as Hyderabad, and then click on register. I'm able to see it over here. A simple thing that we have done. But it's not all about like, just to display the data, but also our intention is user to perform the validation. Now what is mean by a validation here? What is mean by a validation? Tell me what is mean by a validation. A validation is the process of verifying the user input. That means once if you can take any input from the user, we just wanted to check whether that input is there in a proper format or not. Maybe you can take an email, or maybe you can take the password, maybe you can take some age. Age should be in the number. If user has entered like, some digit value or else some alphabetical value, I don't want to allow. I'll accept only the digits or else some numerical value. So such kind of things, if you want to do that, then we will be performing all the validations by default, right? So generally we have two different type of validation. One is the client side validation and second one is the server side validation. And implementing these two validations are must to build any application, irrespective of any technology it might be. We are going to use these two validation things are very important. That means we should give the client side and then following with the server side. Shrikant, if everything I'm able to handle at client side, why should I go with the server side validation? Why? What are the requirements? Tell me. First one that I told you already, every browser is having a capability of not to execute the JavaScript logic. So that if user has disabled the JavaScript execution, then automatically what happen? Then the validations that you people have written on the front end, that is on the client side, will never get executed, so that the data will be stored on the database. That means unnecessary data also would be stored on the database. That is the first one. Okay, fine. Because like that can be done by only few set of people, not from all the people. Because even here also, until unless I open the browser and show it to you, most of the people, they don't know we have a feature for the browser. But still we are the developer, we should know about it because it is used by the developers in general. But now we are not if there is no developer, how they come to know about all those settings? So that is where, like, it's not going to be a big deal, obviously. But even though some hacking is going to be happen, to prevent it, definitely we should have the backend validations also required. Any other scenario? Any other scenario? The backend validations. Suppose you're trying to withdraw some amount, guys. Just assume that you're trying to withdraw some amount where you have given the enter the customer name. Okay, you enter the customer name and you have given all the data. But in your account, suppose let's say you have 10,000 rupees, but you're trying to withdraw 11,000. Then what will happen? It will throw you a validation message, right? But is it happened on the front end or the back end? Where your data or else where your balance would be stored? On the database, right? That means database means it's a front end application or a back end application? Back end application. That means where you need to write the validation then? On the back end only, right? Yes or no? That is the scenario. Or else let's say you supposed to ask the user to enter an email. User is enter an email up to some extent. I can see, like, that email. That means user entered email will contain @gmail.com or not. It is there in a proper format or not. Either it contain one uppercase or one lowercase, such kind of things I can do that. But I have a requirement. The requirement is going to be, I'm going to verify that particular email is already registered or not. If that is the case, I supposed to connect with the backend database and then only I can verify it, right? Yes or no? That means first what you can do, whatever that email we entered within the text box, first we need to identify that is there in a proper format or not. If it is there in the proper format, then it's well and good. If it is not there in a proper format, then what I can do, client side itself, I can do all the validation. Client side itself, I can do the validation. I can stop it there. But once if everything is there in a proper format, I need to cross check that with the help of that existing database. Database means again it is a backend application. Now again the server side validations are required or not? Tell me. So these are the scenarios, different scenarios where you need to write the server side validation. But 90% of the scenario, it doesn't mean that in front end you have implemented the validations or not. You always have to implement the validations on your backend application. It is must. Okay, it is must. But in the front end, why people are asking you to build or implement the validation means, if we can stop to making the call to the backend, then definitely, and everything, if you can sort it out in the front end, that gives the great performance, right? A simple scenario, let's say I'm going to do what? An EMI calculation. Just I can do EMI calculator that I'll try to open. Now see here, this is a simple calculator where I'm going to take around 50 lakh as the loan amount, and interest rate is going to be the 9,000, and then tenure is going to be, maybe let's say I can write 10 years or 20 years. Okay, I can write the 10 years or 9 years. Now you see, if for this calculation, is it really required to go to the backend? Tell me, is it really required to go to the backend? Suppose let's say I am giving 10.30. Is it really required to go to the backend and perform this calculation? Tell me. No, because this data, whatever we are having, it's just a dummy data, obviously. And what we are doing a simple calculation part. We are not doing anything apart from that. We are doing a simple calculation part, and it is not required to use any kind of server resources. Then why should I go with the server? Why should I make a call to the server? Because servers are available in some other place. We all are working on a distributed application. Distributed application in the sense it's a web application. How the web applications will work? Do you know it or not? Yes or no? Yes. That means, let's say we have like different clients are available. This is client 1 and this is client 2 and this is client 3. And what is mean by a client here? What is mean by a client? Tell me. Browser. The browser that what you people are using, that is what we call it as a client. And all these clients are going to connect with what? Connect with what? Server. Now what is mean by a server here? A server is a computer only. As I told you already, a server is nothing but it's a simple computer, nothing apart from that one. Now in this server, what they are doing, they installed another server, that is what we call it as a web server. Okay, this is a computer and generally we call it as a server. Okay, server. In that server, we have what? Web servers are available. Okay, this is what we call it as web servers are available. And in that web server, we have our web applications that are running. This is application 1. This is application 2, like that. Any number of applications you can. This is, let's say, web app 1 I can give. And here I'll be having web app 2, that what I can say. Web app 2, that what I can give. Like that it is going to be. Understood? Yes or no? Now, like this, like the way how we are having the server here, like that, based on the number of requests that we are getting, they may have like, one server, they might have 100 of servers also. That is what we call it as data center. Okay, that is what we call it as a data center. Now, what is meant by a data center? A data center, which is a collection of servers, which is a collection of servers. Shrikant, why should I maintain those many? Any reason? Any reason behind that? Suppose, I hope you people all are in Facebook, right? Definitely. Yes or no? Right. You are in Hyderabad. You are in Hyderabad, but originally the Facebook founder is there in USA. Suppose if they maintain the servers only on the USA, whenever if you are requesting for something, the request will take from here and reaches to the USA data center and gives the response to you, right? Definitely it might take more time. Even though it is a satellite signal, it definitely take more time. Instead of doing that, if I maintain the server within Hyderabad, okay, suppose let's say I'm maintaining a server at Hyderabad, I maintain that application in that particular server. Whoever is requesting in this particular, the location, if the request is reaching to the Hyderabad, definitely you will be getting like, quick response, right? Yes or no? That is how the servers are maintained. And the collection of servers together, we call it as data centers. A data center is nothing but it's a collection of server, and that server we have the web servers are available, and in that web server we have our application. Now in that scenario, the importance of the client side validation, what generally from the client we will be making a request to the server, and server will take the request, process that and gives the response. Now here, as per the requirement, what we are doing just a calculation part, right? We are doing just a calculation part. Then why should I make a request to the server then, if that is a case? Here itself, if I am performing the validation by writing a simple script, then automatically I'm able to get that output, right? Then unnecessary calls are going to be reduced or not. That is the importance of client side development. Right now, what you people are doing or what you people are learning, that means removing unnecessary calls so that the network traffic will be less and we will be getting a quick response from the server. If like number of requests are more, then application is not capable of holding it. That is the reason at 11 o'clock, if you can open IRCTC website, it is taking more time to load. Definitely. Or else like Amazon, Flipkart, Big Billion Days, if you can take and try to open that website, it is not because of like your internet speed. It is because of the server is processing many requests. so that your request will be queued on the load balancer. Okay, means like I told you, web development we have many. Load balancer, what it will do? Again, that is a new concept. I told you, like, your application is there in different servers. Whenever if one server is going to be busy, then your request should not be in the queue. What it needs to do, based on the number of requests, your request will go to the nearest servers, right? Suppose one server is busy, then it has to try with another server who will tell, okay, this server is busy and that server is free. Who will take care of it? Are you going to take care of it? And do you have any guarantee that how many requests that are going to be happen at that moment? Obviously, no. If that is the case, who will take care of it? Load balancer. The load balancer will take the request, all the requests, and check like which server is going to be available a bit free. Then it will move that request to that particular one. For that, again, internally, it contains some algorithms. Okay, all these things you will understand only if you know the deployment of that application. That is what the course right now in Amirpet, that is DevOps. Right now, DevOps course is there, right? What they are learning means all this one only. Hosting the website into the server. And the second one is going to be when the requests are going to be more, how it is going to be segregated and how to prepare the build, how to do like, continuous integration and continuous delivery, CI/CD pipeline. All these things they are learning, and we have a dedicated resource for that. But if you are working in a good company, you will be the part of each and everything once you get 5 years of experience. But seriously, once if you get like 5 years of experience, you will come to know everything, all these things. Whatever like, here a separate course, you will be getting all these things automatically. It's all about like, practice. It will come based on that. Okay, anyhow, this is how it is going to be. Now, the importance is going to be, instead of making unnecessary requests to the server, if I'm going to handle at client side, then definitely it gives the good performance to me, right? That is what the reason client side validations are important. Even though we have the client side, server side validations also important. Now, I'm not talking anything about the client server side, sorry. I'm talking about the client side. So how to perform the client side validation? How to perform the client side validation? In JavaScript, to perform client side, sorry, in Angular, or else let's say to perform the client side operations, to perform the client side validations, we use what? Generally we will be using what? JavaScript, or else we can go with the jQuery, and it provides you a lot of predefined function. Maybe if it is a math function or string function, number function, regular expression, like that we have many things are available. We can use it, and we supposed to write like, lot of manipulations over there. But in Angular, to perform client side validation, we use validation use what? Validation services, that what I can say. Now, what is mean by a validation service? What it will do? These validation services will use the predefined HTML5 validation, and based on that, it will return, okay, it will return the validations, or else it will perform the validation. It will perform the validations without writing much, that what I can say. But if there is a custom validation, if you want to write, you can write. But 90% of the scenario, we will be handled directly with the help of what? HTML5 validations. You need not to worry about anything. It automatically perform its validation. And at the same time, what are the validations are available? HTML5 again. Don't know. Okay, tell me what you know. What are those? I'm asking a question in HTML, not in JavaScript. HTML5 validation properties, required min length, max length. Okay, like that we are having input type equal to email. Now you can see these are the validations. Where it is? You see there, required is available. Once if we can give the required, that field is going to be the required one. And the next one is going to be, we have like, email if we can give, then it will accept only that email. And max we have, and then we have the min is available. And at the same time, you can find like, different things, invalid, valid, like that we have different validation controls are available. I can say that something like, required is the one, min length is the one, and the second one is going to be max length is the one, and after that min is available, and after that we have what? Max is available, and after that we have number is the one that we are having, which will identify the user entered value as the number or not, and at the same time we have an email validation is available, and we have like expression, regular expression, that is what we call it as a pattern, I guess. I need to verify it, I'm not remembering. Okay, pattern is available, URL is available. All these are the validations that are available on what? HTML5. On focus, on blur, all these are the valid. These are not the validation, they are the events. Okay, focus, blur, all these are the events, not the validation. Do remember, there is a lot of difference between the event and the validation. Yeah, date, whatever it might be, we have different validations are available. All these are HTML5 validation, which are understandable by the validation services, which are provided in the Angular. Now, based on this, okay, based on the validation, for an element, Angular validation service will return few properties. Those are like the first property is going to be, we have two properties. First of all, form properties. Second one is going to be input properties are available. Form property. Second one is what? Input properties are available. Now, when I say about the form property, I'll be writing service name, and after that property name, and after that the type, which type it is going to be, and I'm going to write some definition of that. So the first service is going to be, I can say that ng pristine is the service. What is the name of the service? ng pristine is the service, and it contains a property that is going to be pristine is the property, which is going to return a value of what type? Boolean. Now, what is mean by a pristine here? What is mean by a pristine here? Whenever the page is loaded, suppose I have an input control is available. I'm not interacting with that input element. By default, like which comes with some empty value or not, or else which comes with null value. If I'm not modifying the value, then that state, what we call it as pristine state. That means here in this example, my form is loaded. Right now, do we have any data here? Tell me, do we have any data here? No, I don't have any data. Now, this state, what we call it as pristine, that what I can say. That is the reason. Now you can see, if you can observe that, magnifier I'll open, understanding these are very important, guys. Okay, these services are very important. Right now you can see, am I interacted with this form so far? Am I interacted? Tell me. Am I click on anywhere? Am I click on anywhere? Obviously no. Now you can see what classes are applied here. NG, touched is one class. NG, pristine is one class. And NG, valid is another class that we are having. Now here, what is NG pristine? NG pristine is a service. What it will do is, it is identified that whether the value of the input element or the state of the input or state of the form is changed or not. State is nothing but data. Now you can see, right now it is pristine, right? Now what I can do, I'll go to here and I'm giving yes there. Then what happened, you can see NG untouched, NG valid. Now it will become what? NG dirty. Now what is meant by a dirty here? Dirty is something like which is also an angular service. Now you can see pristine means what it will do. It is true when user modify the value. That means if you can modify the value, then it will be true. Same exactly opposite. That is what we call it as what? What it is? NG dirty, that what I can say. Now the property name is going to be dirty and the type is going to be boolean. And when user, sorry, not modify, I'm sorry. The first one is it is true when user not modify the value, and once if it is modified, then it will become what? Dirty. Dirty means what? User has modified the value. That means at the time of loading, there is some value which is associated. That value will be modified. That is what the dirty. And the next one, you can see we have a service that is NG valid, I can say. Now what is NG valid? This contains a property that is valid, and this is also of type boolean, and it return true when the validation success. When the validation success, then it will return true. Exactly opposite, we have what? NG invalid is available. Exactly opposite, that is NG invalid, and here also it is invalid, and the type is going to be boolean. It return true when the validation fails. Whenever the validation fails, it return true. And the same way, we have another one, that is what we call it as NG submitted service is available, and this will contain submitted as the one, and this is also going to be a boolean. Now when this property will be true, it is true when form is submitted. Form is submitted, that what I can say. It is written true when the form is going to be submitted. Understood? Clear or not? That means you see, right now this is how the form is going to be. Now you can see NG valid, NG dirty, and NG touched is available. When user click on register and then click on continue, and I'm able to see the data, but the same time, if you can go to that element, am I able to see that NG is submitted here or not? See that. I'll show you with the magnifier. Give me 1 minute. Give me a moment. Okay. Now you can see it is submitted or not. NG submitted or not. Yes or no? So all these are what we call it as Angular services. And these services are also known as validation services. Now, Srikanth, what is the advantage or what is the use of seeing these things? That means just do let me know whenever my page is loaded. If I'm applying like any validation, by default, I'm just writing something like enter email is mandatory, or enter password is mandatory, or enter, let's say, age is mandatory. Like that, these error messages are displayed. Directly when you load the form or when you are not entered and click on the form? Two scenarios. Whenever if the page is loaded, are you going to display the validation messages, or else when user is not entered and click on the register button, are you going to display the validation? At what time the validations are going to be required? At what time you are going to write? A simple question, man, think yourself. If you try to open the Facebook, suppose let's say I am trying to open the Facebook application. Let's open the Facebook application. Now, okay. Just a minute. I'll try to open the Facebook application. Is it displaying the validations right away? Is it displaying any validations over there? When the validations are displayed, when user click on here, then only we will be getting the validation messages, right? That means these are available only when it is going to be displayed. When user click on the submit button, then only it has to be, right? But how you will understand that the button was clicked or not? That is the reason we use the validation services. Suppose let's say it is asking me to enter the username or something. I'm just writing something like this and just coming out here. Okay, coming out here. I just need to verify whether the validation is going to be performed or not. How you will identify? For that reason only, all these validation services are going to be available. What are the services are available? We have NG pristine, dirty, NG valid, NG invalid, and the next one is going to be NG submitted is available. Like that, we are having many. Now, what I can do, I'm going to show you how we can perform the validations for this one on the same example. Okay, this is the same example that what we are having. Additionally, what I can do is, I'm going to write something like invalid style that what I can give. And for that one, I am using background color as going to be red. And at the same time, I'm adding one more class. Let's say valid hyphen style is going to be, I'm giving background hyphen color that is going to be green I can give. Okay. Two classes that I have created. If it is invalid, it would be in the red color. If it is valid, that would be in the green color. That's what I want to do. That's it. Nothing apart from that. Now, what I want to do is, I'll open my HTML. I'll open my HTML here and write what validations you guys wants to perform over here. Now I'm going to write the validation. The first validation is going to be, let's say, required is the validation that I'm performing. That is the first one. And the second one, for this particular age, I'm giving the minimum is going to be 18 and the maximum is going to be 40, that what I can give. Okay, that means like whatever the validations you wanted to give, you can give it over there. I'm just writing for the, and also here you can write any number. Let's say min length is available, the string length, maybe 4 character, and at the same time, I just wanted to write maximum length as going to be 10 character. Username is having 3 validation. One is required validation. Second one is what? Minimum length. Third one is going to be the maximum length of character. Second one number is having, let's say, I'm going to write required for this one also. And at the same time, it comes with some minimum value and then following with maximum value that what we are having. And the same way, and for this one also, I'll be using required. Do remember, apart from the input to type text, either it is a radio button, checkbox or drop down, any these 3 you can take. We can apply only the required. We cannot do anything apart from that. We can make it as mandatory, but we cannot do anything for these 3. Just you can apply what? Required. To make it mandatory, nothing apart from that one. Understood? But if it is an input to type, then we can apply different validations, like the way how I have given min length, min max, let's say input type equal to number or else required. All these you can give only for input types. But if it is a radio button, checkbox and drop down, we can apply only one validation, that is going to be required validation, nothing apart from that one. Okay, now clear. Now what I want to do is, when user click on the register button, then what happen? Register function will get executed and get the data to here, right? Yes or no? Get the data or not? Now, until unless user has entered or performed all the validation controls written true, I don't want to enable this button, man. How I can handle it? How I can handle it? Did you understand my requirement? Until unless if user has performed all the validations, then I don't want to enable this particular button. How I can do that? How I can do that? How I can identify that my form is going to be valid or invalid? For that reason only we use this property. So to check the form is valid or invalid, we have a property that is going to be valid property and invalid property. Now how I can apply that? Simply what I can do, I am going to disable it until what? I have my form dot, let's say invalid. Suppose if my form is invalid, then I'm going to disable this one. Understood? Clear na? Until unless my form is going to be invalid, I'm going to disable it. Maybe I can add another button here. I'll be writing something like button save to draft or something, that what I can give. And this button is going to be displayed. When this is going to be displayed, I don't want to display blindly. Whenever user has modify any value, then only I'm going to display this button. Right now you can see, when I save it and then come back here, am I able to enable this button? Tell me. When this is going to be enabled, whenever my form is going to be written true, that means if it perform all the validation, then only I'll enable the register button. Same time, if user has not entered any value, what is the need of this button? Tell me. User is not entered any value in the form. Do I need to display this button here? Obviously no. Yes or no? Obviously no. So if that is a case, what I can do? I need to identify my form is modified or not. How I can do that? That is the reason I have a property, that is what we call it as a dirty property is available or not. If it is pristine, means what? Pristine means it is not modified. Once if you modify, then that will become the dirty or not. Yes or no? So now what I can do? I am going to use that particular one. How I can use? I'll be using maybe ng if is equal to, I have my form register dot, I'll be giving dirty. When I give that dirty, now you can see, right now do we have the button here? Now you can observe that, right click and inspect it, and if you can go to the magnifier here, it's all about seeing here. It is important, guys. In developer tools, it is important to understand the validation. Now you can see what it is. It is a ng pristine, right? And do we have the button here? No, we don't have any button. But you see the time when user has entered any value. Now you can see, am I able to see the button or not? How I am able to see the button? Because the form is returning a one, that is what? Ng dirty, and that ng dirty will contains the property, that is the dirty property. Now by using that, I am enabling the button here. Once if ng if form register dot dirty, then only I am going to displaying. This is the real time usage of the properties that are available. Understood? Or any questions here? Clear na? And not even that, even we can apply like, the classes also. Now what I can do, maybe, okay, let's take the form. Now for this particular form, I'm going to give the class as going to be, let's say I'm giving some padding here and I wanted to apply the classes over there. Now what classes are going to be given? So the first class that what I can give here as, suppose let's say CSS. Now I'm using invalid style. Let's say this is that invalid style that what I can give. I'm going to give that invalid style when that is going to be invalid. Whenever my form is invalid, then only we should apply this particular class, right? Yes or no? And the same time, what I can do, I just wanted to give something like, you say valid style is available. When this is going to be applied, this class I'm trying to apply when my form is going to be valid, that what I can say. Whenever my form is valid, then I can apply valid style. Whenever my form is invalid, then I can apply the invalid style. Understand? Now you can save it and then come back here. See that output. Right now, what color it is showing me? It's completely in the red color because the form is invalid. We are not performing any validations here. Now I'm performing the validation here. Let's say I'll be writing my name here and I'm giving my age. And if I'm giving Hyderabad, now you can see the background will become as green or not. Yes or no? Suppose if any one validations, if you are not performing well, let's say I'm giving 13 here, or else let's say I'm giving 44 here. Now see, we have an issue. Let's say if I'm giving 32, or else if I'm giving only 3 characters, you can see that if I'm giving 3 issue, if I'm giving 4, then it is working perfectly fine. If I'm giving like more than 10, it won't allows you, but anyhow, if you can give more than 10, then also that would be an error for us. That is the reason whenever the validation is failed, then it will become what color? Red color. If the validation is going to be success, then it will become what color? Green color, like that. Clear? Everyone is clear or not? And not even that, even the same property that what we have learned here for the form, same properties you can have it for individual input controls also. That means every input control you can take, which by default comes with that one. I will show you that even. I'll right click and go to that inspect and you can see, the classes are applied here or not. You can see the classes are applied here, ng dirty, ng touched, ng invalid. Now these are available for what? You can see there, for input or the form. You can see there what it is. It is an input. That means the same property are available for the form level, at the input level also you can do that. Shrikant, what is the need of having it in the input level? What is the need of it? Any guess? Displaying the error messages. These kind of requirements, you will never see it in your real time, right? Have you seen anywhere? If you are not entering anything in the red color, entering it in the green color, the backgrounds will not be changed. This is just an example. How properly we will be displaying the validation. We will be displaying a simple message to the user, right? Yes or no? We'll be displaying what? Username is mandatory. Username is, let's say, not mandatory. Something like that we have to display it, right? So how we can identify that? To do that one only, we will be using input level validation. That means we have the, I can say there is another point. We can have same validation services are available for input control level, input for input control also. We have the same validation which are available at input control also, but additionally we have two are available. That means we have all these are available, guys. The way how we are having till the end, you can have all. Okay, we can have the same validation service, but we don't have the submitted for the input control. Additionally, we have to, one is going to be ng touched is one service, and this is going to be touched, and the type is going to be boolean, and the type is what it is? It's a boolean, and it returns true. It returns true when user focus the input control. That means whenever if user has touched that input control, then automatically ng touched will be true. And the same way we have what, and another one is available, that is what we call it as what is the next opposite one is what? ng untouched is available. ng untouched is available. Untouched means what? This is also untouched, I can say, and this is also a boolean. It return true when user blur or leave the input control, I can say. Leave the input control, I can say. That's it. Then what is the difference between pristine, dirty, and touched and untouched? Very, very important interview question it is. Coming to the validation part, the one important interview question you will be getting this only. Pristine and dirty, touched and untouched. What is the difference? Right. The only difference is whenever if the data, suppose let's say you can observe that here I'm having like, the data. Right now, do we have any data? No. When I'm touching the text box or not? I'm leaving the text box. But am I modified any value here? Still, the state is pristine only. Because once if you modify the state, then only it will become dirty. But when it comes to the touched or untouched, now this is touched one only, but we are not modifying the value. That is the difference. It's a quite difference. Pristine and dirty, it's based on the data. Touched and untouched based on the focus and leave event. That means focus and blur. User has selected or not selected, based on the touched and untouched will get executed. But dirty and pristine, these two are based on what? The value modifications. Very, very, very important interview question it is. Just please do remember. Okay, it's a very important interview question. Now, very good. Now, what I can do, I'm going to show you like how we can display the validation. A simple validation that what I can apply it to here. Suppose let's say I have like, let me give a DD here. I'm giving a DD here. Now this is going to display, maybe I can say username is mandatory, that what I can give. What I am doing? Username is mandatory I am giving. Username is what? Mandatory. But when I save it and then come back here, now you can see that output. Am I able to see that output here or not? But is it the requirement? Tell me. Is it in a proper way? Obviously no. Because until user performs some action, why should I display that? Right? So that what I can do, I am going to write the validation over here. When the validations are going to be, when this is going to be executed, only it execute if what is that input field name we are having? What is the input field name we created here? What is that input field name we created? Username is that input field or not? Now, this has to be displayed only if it is going to be invalid. Otherwise, is it really required to display? Tell me. No, you can see right now it is showing, but once if I'm giving a proper value, it is get rid of it or not. Tell me. Yes or no? Right. Okay. But the still we have an option. We have still we are seeing this message. We don't want to see it. How do we write that particular one? For that, what I can do, I'm using a simple one again. What I can do, if the username dot, it will become dirty, and then if it is invalid, then only I'm going to display. Until unless if user has touched, is it really required for me? User modify the value, it is not required. So that I can write. Now you can see when I'm removing it, still it is showing me username is mandatory because we are in the focus. Focus is there only. We touched it. Now what I can do, I'll be writing something like this. Okay, this is the one, or else what I can do, I'm going to write and another one, something like suppose if the username, okay, username dot, okay, touched, if username is going to be touched, and at the same time, username dot invalid, then also we have to display the message, right? Yes or no? Yes or no? Tell me. You see, right now it is not displaying. But when I keep my focus here and leave to another place, then immediately it is showing me or not. Yes or no? So these kind of things we can get with the help of what? Input control properties. Same property, same purpose, but that's up to you. How you guys wants to use, that you can decide. Understood? That you can decide. Either you can use it form level, that's based on the requirement, or else if you guys wants to use at where control level, if you wanted to use, you can use it. That's up to you. Anything is fine. But here we have one problem is available with this particular one. Individual messages, it's a very challenging task for us to develop. That means here always it is showing me what? Always it is showing me what? Username is mandatory. Suppose if user has not given 4 letters or 3 letter, then we should display a different error message, right? Then how to display it? That is the limitation. That means we cannot do that particular things over here. Standard error message you can display. What is the standard we have? Star. That is the reason if you are using the template driven form, you can see we will be getting like, the stars only. We will be getting the stars only. Specific, you can't do that one because we don't have an option to identify which validation is going to be failed. So to overcome that, 90% of the scenario, we will be using what? Model driven forms. Now, what is model driven forms again? Same, what we already learned. It follows that MVC and those variable in template driven, we created the variables in the HTML, right? If it is a model driven, we will be creating it where? Component. Simply we can create it in the component and we will understand that. And before that, any questions if you can have, let me know. Any questions on this one? Any questions? Tell me, any questions here? No question? I guess, give me 1 minute. There is one Angular 16 only with respect to this. most of my projects, like I'm not using template driven. It's all about that only, model driven only. But in Angular 16 we have an option, template driven forms, not Angular 16, G form. Why it is not getting the document? Errors object in Angular 16 validation template driven forms. Model male or female. Okay. Ng validate ng model contact dot email validation error message G30 ng if. Okay, sorry guys, there is an option. The option is going to be, okay, I can show you. Okay, I can show you here. What I can do is, right now here you can see this is going to be displayed like very commonly, right? This is very commonly like it is getting the message. When this message is going to be displayed, whenever user touched and the state of that input is invalid. Now you can right click and go to that inspector, that element. Now you can see what is the state right now. Ng pristine. You can see ng pristine and ng invalid and ng touched or not. Yes or no? That means whenever if it is true, then automatically those classes are going to be applied. Those are going to be applied. So that now you see it is true, so that it is showing me the message. But here I'm enter some value here. Still it is like you see ng invalid and ng touched and ng dirty. But the message is different right here. Message should be different or not? Different or same? Tell me. Different only. Obviously it is different because user has entered the username. Why it is again showing me this message? I have to display that one, right? So for that, I'm not sure in which version it was introduced. I forgot actually, but we have an option to identify, and that is nothing but we have an option. The option is going to be, I can say ng if, okay, is equal to username dot, we have an errors object is available dot. Now the error is going to be, I can say it is suppose let's say required if I am using, and then only I want to display the data. Okay, then only I just wanted to display the data. Now let's say, just a minute, there is an option. The property required comes from an index signature, so it must be accessed with unexpected token, expected identifier, like I'll be giving. Okay, now you can see username dot errors of, when it is going to be required and this will be happen, then only I want to display this message. Now you can see this time what happened. I'll go to here. If user has not entered anything, username is mandatory or not? Yes or no? Suppose if I'll be giving something like this, but still it is showing me. Still it is showing me. Still it is showing. Required and invalid. Maybe I can say Okay, I'll be removing it. Let's create yeah, it's not the ternary, just errors object. Sometimes it will become an empty value. If you are not apply any validation, then it will be empty only, right? Yes or no? If that is the case, how you can access the members? That is the reason I am just checking the null value, whether it is going to be an empty or not. If it is an empty, then it won't look for this particular one. If it is not empty, then it will go to that. Just a minute. Okay, it will go to that. That's it. Apart from that, nothing. It's just like, nullable, checking the null value. I'll do one thing. I'll create a new form because it's kind of messy as we are having everything. I'll create a new form to demonstrate about that error object. We have an option definitely. For that, what I can do is I'll right click, open that integrated terminal. Let's have the command prompt and then ngg c for the component. Okay, template form validations hyphen skip hyphen test I can give, so that a template form will get created. Same form that I'll create, nothing major. And also I will show you another interesting thing here. We have created like our own CSS classes and applied, right? Even that is also not required, because the classes also we have predefined classes are available. I will show you that. Before that, we will understand error object, angular template driven or else error object. In both the places we have error object, angular error object. So it is used to specify or else used to identify the specific error message or else error value. That means whether like user has failed to give the value, or user has, let's say, failed to give the minimum length of the value or maximum length of the value, that you can identify with the help of an error object. Up to angular, I guess 13 we have it. Syntax is like uh, we will be writing something like errors dot required, or else errors, it's a predefined object dot min length I can say, like that it is. But in angular 14 and updated versions, what we are going to do is we will be using errors dot, okay, errors dot check with the null value, and then following with the one that what you wanted to give. That means you wanted to give the required, this is the syntax. Okay, this is the syntax. Or else if you wanted to give the min length, you can give something like this. That is the reason earlier when I was writing there, I'm getting an error, right? It's because like latest version only we have it 14 and above, I guess. I'm not sure about that exact version. That is where I'm giving both the syntaxes to you. Which one is working, that you can use it in your project. Both are fine. Which one is like, because like we don't have any guarantee on which version you people are working. So that is the reason. Now what I can do, I'm going to write a simple validations here by taking it to the user. So that I'll go to the component and temple driven form with the validation. First, let's execute this one. Now I'll take this component out of here, and then I'm giving it over there. There's the first one. And after that, let's take the selector and go to that index.html, where I can give a simple one. There I can write something like that. This is how it is going to be. Okay. And as I told you, like we don't need to create a separate classes. We have the predefined classes that are available. Those are going to be, let's say, I'm writing for my input element, whenever if I'm having a class that is going to be an ng invalid, because for that input element we have the classes or not. Have you seen that or not? Tell me. Ng class equal to ng valid, ng invalid, like that. Then what I want to do is I'll be giving the border as going to be 2 pixel solid. It is invalid so that I can give the red color. Suppose for my input element, if I'm getting a class that is going to be an ng valid, then what I can do, I'm just writing the border as going to be, let's say 2 pixel solid only, but the color is going to be green color. And if you wanted to apply like any property to these classes, you can. I'll be giving box shadow also in 3 places. It start from the right, and then we will be getting it in the bottom and 3 sides, and I'm just giving some green color, that what I can give, that's it. And suppose if my form is going to be invalid, now you can see we have the form control is available, so that for the form, if I'm having ng invalid, that what I can say, now what I can do, I'm going to apply the background color as going to be some light red I can give. Red is means it's too awkward. Okay, we don't have that color also. I'll be giving the red only. I can't do anything. Just I'm writing what? The red color over here. Okay. Where we are? Okay. So these are the predefined classes, ng invalid, ng valid, and ng invalid. All these are which are available for an input control and the form. Instead of creating the class names by your own, you can make use of it so that you need not to write anything with respect to the styling perspective. Yes. What? Which one? Second one. Okay, form. Form is tag name. Just it's a tag name. Okay, Indrasana. NG. Okay, very good. That's it. So these are the classes that I have applied over here. Now what I want to do is first let me go to the HTML. We'll be giving a div which contains the class as going to be the container, and the next thing is going to be we should have the form. I don't want to give any kind of action over here where I can apply some classes that is going to be, let's say 2 as the padding that what I can give, and after that margin top 3 or something, and after that padding is also I can give 2. Yeah, that's it. And after that, for this form, I'm giving the name as going to be what? Form register, that what I can say. Register is equal to what I need to give here. What I supposed to give it here? ng form. Very good. We will be writing here ng form. Do I need to register the forms module now? Do I need to register it here? No, because one time, because yes, very good. This component and the previous component, both are the part of app module only. In app module, already I have imported the forms module so that no need to do anything from here. Now I am using a simple H2, let's say register form I can give, and I am taking a DL where I can say the DT. I'll be writing a username, and I'm taking a DD where I can have an input type as going to be the text, and then I'll be applying some properties here. The first property is going to be, let's say required is the one, and after that the same thing, minimum length is 4 and the maximum length is going to be, let's give the 10 that what I can give, and here give the name property. Always it's a good practice. That means in Angular, if it is pure JavaScript, we will be giving more focus for that ID property. But if it is an Angular, you can give the name property. Now I am giving the name as going to be username. At the same time, I'll be working on the template driven form so that we'll be giving that ng model. And the same time, I'm using the one that what we are having, username is equal to, I'm writing the ng model here. That's it. Now this is how it is going to be. Now the requirement is going to be, we just want to perform the validations for this one, and we have to display that related message only. So for that, what I can do, I'll be using a DD here. Okay, I'll be using a simple DD here, and in this is going to be, I'll be giving class equal to text hyphen danger. So what is the purpose of text danger class? Right, it will be display that particular text in the red color. Now what I can do, I just wanted to display this particular DD only if the form is submitted. Once if the form is submitted, then only I'm going to perform all the validation. That is my requirement. So that what I can do, I'm writing here, sorry, form submitted, right? Form register dot, we have what? Submitted, and at the same time, whenever my input control, that is the username, is invalid, then only I can display the message to the user. Understood this one? Tell me. That means whenever my form is submitted, same time, whenever my input control is having the error, then only I'm going to display this one. Otherwise, I don't want to give or I don't want to render this total DD to the browser. Now, what you are going to display it here. For that, I'm going to write here the three things. One is for the username is mandatory. Username is mandatory, that what I can give. And the another one is going to be, let's say, username must contain how many? Must contain 4 characters. 4 characters. Okay, length is 4. Okay, minimum length is 4, so that 4 character. And the third one is going to be, I'll be giving username must contain. Okay, must contain. Here I can give the minimum, and here I can give maximum of how many characters here? 10 characters, that what I can give. Okay, 10 characters, that what I can give. But these messages also I don't want to display directly, right? I don't want to display it directly. So when it is going to be displayed only when I'm using an ng if is equal to, whenever the username that we are having dot errors object is available, and the error is going to be what error? The error is going to be required. Then only I'm going to display this message. If you want to display that individual messages, this is how it is going to be. The same way, what I can do, I'll be applying for the remaining also. That means this is the first one. And the same way, we have it for the second one. And the second one is going to be what we are having here, minimum length. I can give the minimum length here, and then you can give it over there. And the same thing, you can give it for what? Sorry, you can give it for what? Maximum length also, so that I can copy and giving it over here. And then you can see I'm having the maximum length. Understood? The maximum length is going to be like that. Then I can give it over there. Just as it is, copy the property that we are having and giving it over there. This is how we will be displaying what? The specific error messages. And all these errors are available in an object, that is what we call it as errors object. It is a predefined object that we are having. You need not to create it in anywhere. It is a predefined object which contains all the HTML5 errors. Clear na? Same way, what I can do, I'll be adding for the remaining also. This is the first one. And the same way, what I can do, I'll be taking another DT here. Maybe I'll ask the user to enter the password. Okay, enter the password. This is the username, and there we have the DT, and then we will be giving the password as well. Now, how to have the password here? Maybe like for the password, same you can apply, but you can use some pattern, or else number you can take, you can use some number. And after adding all those things, maybe suppose, let's say, if that error object is not having the custom valid, suppose let's say drop down list you can take. Drop down list is having a custom valid. By default, we can give what? Required validation only. But suppose I wanted to see whether the drop down list first value is going to be Hyderabad or not. Do we have any predefined validation for that? Do we have any predefined validation? Yes or no? Do we have? What is that name? Tell me then. We don't have any predefined validation for that. Okay, my questions are very confusing, definitely. Okay, we don't have any predefined. Then what you need to do? You have to write what? Your own validation, and that will be applied to this particular object. So how to do that, and about this continuation also, we will see it in tomorrow. I have a small meeting. Again, I have to finish it and then I log into my office. That is where we'll complete this one, and also I will show you how to write the custom validation by tomorrow. And then reactive validation. Reactive validation, why it is much popular is there we write less and do more. We don't need to write this much logic there. It's a quite simple logic, so that it would be very easy for us to understand. But in Angular 13, there is a new service which was introduced, Form Builder, which will make, like, when compared with reactive forms, which is having more performance. I guess 3 to 4 times more performance. I'll be including that also. Okay, we will all together, we'll see that in tomorrow. Okay, maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, I'll try to finish about the forms, and then we will start working with the routing, and then we will start the end-to-end development with one example again. Okay, that's it for the day. Thank you and have a nice day. Maybe I'll upload everything by tomorrow. By completing this, I'll upload everything. Okay, don't worry. I know that still you people are not practiced the one what I have uploaded. Okay, don't ask me the questions, Shrikant. You're not uploading still. I'm telling you, I'm not uploading anything today. Please do practice the previous one. If anyone have completed, just come and meet me. I'll place you in my company only. We have a lot of openings. Okay, if you are ready to for that challenge, I'm not asking anything apart from the sessions. Whatever I have explained in the session, whatever that examples I have given, I'm giving only in that. If you're really ready, we have an openings. Okay, fresher openings only, purely on Angular, but the only some terms and conditions, 60%, few conditions are there, but you will come to know that, like, I already updated to the recruitment team. Okay, so you might come to know, not now. It's for, I'm not sure for the job guarantee or somebody else, but it right now we have the open positions. That is purely on Angular again. No need of .NET and Java. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Angular. These 4 enough. Package 4.5 budget for one person. If anyone having an experience, any of your friends or your brothers, we have an opening on .NET with 4 years of experience, Java with 4+ experience. I told you it's not for free. If I refer someone and if they join, based on the position, I'm getting the money. I'm not doing it for free, that also. Senior software engineer, if I refer and they join, I'm getting 50,000. 50,000 as the referral bonus. If it is technical lead, 75,000. If it is manager and above position, it's 1 lakh. Referral bonus, that is. Okay. But the only thing is, interview is not that much easy. 6 rounds of interview. Packages also like that only. Software engineer package is 8 lakh. Trainee software engineer package 6 lakh. Senior software engineer package is 15 lakh budget, 15 to 16. After that, system analyst, senior system analyst, and then technical lead, and then manager, product manager, engineering manager, head of engineering, then CFO, CTO, like that. Okay. Packages are good, but the thing is, people who are really practiced well, I can refer also. If you can share a resume to me, I can refer also. But there are some terms and conditions, because fresher, I'm not looking anything. I'll just check what are the terms. Based on that, I'll update you. Yesterday only we got that requirement. That's it for the day anyhow. Please do practice and complete that. And I'll upload this tomorrow, not today. Okay. Thank you and have a nice day.